Welcome to Season 5 of Swiss Impact with Benedict. I'm Sveta.
And I am Ben. The topic of Season 5 is impactful investments. How can you make a difference with your capital?
Our guests, who are managing impact investment funds, business owners, thought leaders, will empower you to invest with impact.
In this season, we will showcase various impact investment funds who are contributing to SDGs, better known as Sustainable Development Goals as defined by the United Nations.
There is no excuse. Shift your capital to create positive change in our world. Your children will be happier, you will feel fulfilled, and make money.
We will broadcast every Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Central European Time, here on Swiss Impact with Banerjees. You get more when you give back.
So always invest with impact.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone.
Welcome back to Season 5, Episode 14, dedicated to impactful investment opportunities. And today we're going to talk about mobility, which has zero emissions, is safe, and is fun. So it will be a very interesting show. Stay with us. And Ben has already even driven this amazing vehicle, which we are going to show you today. Not that one. There will be something more exciting. And to remind you, we know many of you are watching our TV show on all three channels, like social media, podcast, YouTube, and smart TVs, of course. But to stay updated, subscribe on our YouTube channel, Swiss Impact. Well, now I'd like to ask you if you prepared any moving story for today.
No, I'll just, lately I have been getting so much rubbish from the internet.
That starts good.
Mostly that climate change is a hoax. And somehow the news changes with different audience. So for the general US public, I'm speaking with the Republicans, climate change is a Chinese propaganda. In fact, more climate change and more CO2 in the atmosphere is good for the nature. And somebody even said, thousands of years back, the average temperature was more than 2 degrees centigrade higher. Well, my answer is, well, a few billion years further past, the surface temperature was a few thousands of degrees higher. Issue is that life did not exist on Earth as it exists now, nor did human, nor the nature with the present inhabitants. But this goes on. For the left-wing people, the story is the elite making new regulations to increase their control on them. And for the right-wing people, it is more government regulations to kill innovation and kill private entrepreneurship. So you see the news changes with different audience. I can reply to all of it, but I'm tired of it. Nor do I aspire to teach everyone about this.
Why not, actually? This is, I think, one of the reasons for our program, to show various aspects of problem to people and for them to choose the true direction to take the right actions. So please, we ask you to shed the light in the darkness.
So, okay. So I was reading in one of the very right-wing website saying that solar change or solar energy has no future because when there is no sun, there is no energy. Well, it has a point. And in one of the sites I even read, they blamed that Sri Lanka, the problem Sri Lanka is having, the economical problems, is because of their transition to renewables. So we have to look into the energy as a supply and demand-based energy production. Supply-based is like wind and sun. You can only have the energy when there is a wind and when there is a sun. Same on the other side is the demand-based, like the geothermal, tidal, or even to some people very controversial is nuclear energy, where you can take out as much energy as you require. So just producing wind parks or solar parks will not be socially accepted and will have a lot of issues, like I mentioned earlier. So the regulation makers and the policy makers should think of a different combinations possible with a better energy storage capacity, or you combine the supply and the demand side so that every one of us has uninterrupted energy supply.
Well, yeah, thank you, Ben. Once again, the energy topic is very important in our world, as ever before, maybe even. And this is why we invited our extremely innovative guests of today, as their activities will answer some of your points, Ben, or maybe all of them. Let's check that. And with this, I'd like to invite our guests, Mr. Pekka Ketola and Mr. Jaakko Pitkäjärvi from Scouter Mobility. Here they are. Great.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good day.
Welcome,
Good day.
Pekka and
Good
Jaakko.
day. Where are you right now?
We are in a factory in the great industrial city Tampere in Finland.
In Finland, again, Finland. We have so many amazing projects in Finland, so I'm not surprised anymore. It's so great to have you guys with us. Thank you for joining the TV show, and we are looking forward to learn more about whatever you have in your background. But let me start first with the introduction of both of you, as not everyone knows you yet. I'd like to start with Pekka, who is the CEO of Scouter Mobility and a practitioner for human innovation. You are bringing together user experience, innovation, co-creation, and business development. For 16 years, you were a strong advocate for open innovation and collaborative development at Nokia, working in multiple innovation management roles. And you were developing communicators, smartphones, and mobile services. You're also the founder of an innovation company, Idea Scout, which brings the power of collaborative development and user experience together. So, and I'd like also to introduce Jaakko, who is the chair of the board of Scouter Mobility and investor in technology service sectors, mainly outside of medicine. And why outside, we will ask you later. But you are focusing strongly on sustainability-driven startups. And have worked in various healthcare companies for over 20 years. Moreover, it's very interesting. You are also engaged in aviation and maritime, and automotive fields, right? Both from professional and personal interest. That's very like from the sky to the water, everywhere. That's amazing. It's very innovative. And I'd like also to add a few words about your company, which is the main reason of today's show. It is Scouter Mobility, which was born in 2014 from translating urban development megatrends and emerging problems into an industrial scalable solution, a disruptive light electric vehicle.
Which I even had the option and even the chance and the privilege to try it out when I was in Helsinki last time.
Let's see it quickly. I'm sure everyone will have a lot of fun watching you. Wow, yeah, looks cool. Amazing.
This was very perfect.
So, guys, we'd like to hear from you now. What are your stories, Pekka? How did you come to Scouter Mobility? What lead you there?
Yes, briefly, what is the story behind us? The founders of the companies, it's me and my colleague Petri Pitka, and we have both been working very heavily on the mobile technologies, and especially between research and business. Whole kind of career has been there in between of these two areas. At some point, we started to think that when we started this company after our careers on Nokia, we started to think at what is missing on the cities and streets of the globe planet, and then we talked about, okay, beforehand there was a laptop computers and mobile phones. Something was missing in the between, and then came iPads. Now we have been thinking in the early days of Scouter Mobility that, okay, we have cars and we have bikes. is there something in between? And there is a gap. And that's where we started to work on. The idea was born, and now we are talking about driving lighter. That's the main idea there. Our mission in the company, we want to cut the city transportation's carbon emissions globally, and that's the main mission we have.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing, Pekka. Yes.
And Jaakko, what's your story from a medical doctor?
Yes, this is quite a pretty unusual background for an investor, but anyway, I'm a medical doctor of my profession and still doing it every day or nowadays as my profession, but I'm been involving heavily in different investments and companies and especially outside medicine, because I have an interest towards technical topics and technical solutions. So vehicles, automotive industry, and both building and shipbuilding is of my special mind. So I've been in several projects in those areas and done some investments in different mechanical industry and all with some kind of like idea with sustainability and emission cutting down and so on. So, yeah.
Right, but I suggest maybe you can also show us one of the vehicles of Scouter mobility. That would be great to see.
Have a look.
Aha! That's so great. And you have many of them there, I see.
And it makes no sound. It makes absolutely no sound.
So I guess it is electric.
Yeah. Complete.
And what is the story behind Scouter mobility, and why is zero emission urban mobility so important to both of you?
Well, we are solution solvers here, and we have been thinking how to cut emissions and slow down climate change and take pollutions down in cities. And we have also a special interest in traffic problems, and therefore we've been thinking and researching what to do, and we have had some plans how to approach this problem. And it's not a secret that there are big problems in big cities or even smaller cities around the world. There are too much cars, too many people driving them, too large traffic jams, and everything just doesn't work. Somewhere works, but in many cities that's not working solution. And the future doesn't look good. So everything is getting worse, as we know. And therefore we thought that something have to be done. And electric cars alone, the number of them is growing, and that's good. And they don't have any pollution downtown, and that's fine. But that's not solution at all for the whole problem. And we think that the electric car is it's still a bulky unit, and there have to be a smarter solution to move than electric car with 500 horsepower engine, or the motors actually, and a big battery weighing a ton and keeping a lot of precious metals in it. So it's not it's too bulky. So therefore we thought and found that this Scouter with very good near traffic capabilities is a way to go. So we want to do the downtown traffic lighter and with less energy, but more flexibility and less footprint, and much more easier way to move and give more space in downtown areas with our vehicles.
Okay. And can you also park it everywhere, or you need special, cycle parking or car parking area in the city?
Well, we can park it. It depends on legislation, actually. So in Finland, for example, or in Europe mainly, we can park it basically everywhere. So there's no. It's up to legal restriction how it works, but mainly you can park it everywhere you want. But you can also use parking lot reserved for cars. So it depends on legislation. But right now it's very free and flexible in Europe at least.
Right. But imagine you would have 2 millions of them or more driving around. Then I guess some regulation will come where to park it and where not. Otherwise, people can park anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we thought that. But anyway, it can still, or it will, once we have less cars in towns and we can use scooters instead, then the problem will be solved in a kind of like a natural way. So we have more room for scooters and less cars. And when you're driving downtowns, you have only short, medium trip you drive there and short or slow, medium speed. So you can survive with a scooter easily and do everything the same as you do with car when you use our vehicle. So therefore, if we see that there's a big possibility to change traffic from cars to scooters.
And how many people can fit in the scooter, and how much kilograms can it carry around?
We approach scooters and light vehicles as platforms, like the automotive industry does. So we are at the moment, kind of basic thing we are talking about platform. And platform means that you can do different configurations on the platform, different products. So I'll come to basics first before I answer to your question. So the scooter platform, it's an electric vehicle platform. That's the idea. Now we can build locally relevant products on the market areas. In one country, it's totally different than in other country. But as a platform, it's already a complete high quality electric vehicle. It's made with automotive standards. It's really high quality and not something that breaks in a couple of weeks or months. Now about your question, the basic configuration, we have like what you saw here, it's for 2 persons that it can carry, and it also has almost 200 liters of cargo space. So you can really have 2 persons and lots of cargo in there. But because of its platform, you can change, you can have, let's say 1 person, you can have 3 persons, you can have 4 persons, up to 250 kilos altogether.
That's amazing. I mean, it's really like a car.
But this 250 kilos is including the 2 people or excluding the 2 people?
It's a people and the cargo at the same time.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to be very big, I guess, right? But 250, it's really a lot.
Yeah.
You cannot carry it by simple bicycle.
And can you tell us something about its modularity?
Yes, the base platform is a basis for the scooter, and it includes all the gear, all the steering, and all base systems to drive it. But you can change it, and like Pekka said, there's a cargo room in the rear, and you can install there a different kind of like cargo space in any form or any size, depending of weight, of course. And then you can even leave it out if you want and install there more seats to carry more people. For example, in special cases, kids or other people for shorter run. And you can have pedals in the scooter, or you can leave them out. So it depends on what you want and how do you want to use it. And you can have roof with it and or leave it out, or you can have a solar panel on roof when it's a solar scooter and it's driven by solar energy. So you have a lot of different options there, and you can do even individual solutions to install something else, completely else, instead of cargo space, if you have a really some personal idea what to install there. So there's a lot of possibilities to use that and modularity already.
That's really amazing, guys. I don't know how you build it all. Another question, how is digitality implemented in Scouter platform?
Yes, we have an ordinary remote digital control in the vehicle. So that's nothing special. We have it in every car today, in modern car and lawn mover and so on. So that's nothing special. And I don't want to go deeper into that. So you can switch it on and cut it out and see how many kilometers it goes and where it is. So that's normal for us also. But we have also another digital funnel built inside the system, and we can show digital information through the Scouter. So we can install a digital platform to the cargo site, a display of large size. We have done it. And you can send whatever information you want through the display. So it's not hard to imagine that you can do digital advertising to the display. You can just select what you want to show, and the customer can select what they want, or you can use it for non-profit information. If you want to use it for some kind of like social information, what you want to deliver in a near downtown or city area. So you can have it as an source of information or advertising also.
Wow. And I just said, because we have a Tesla and our car, we can also check on our phone, on our iPhone, where the car is parked, how much battery is charged, everything. Is it also possible? Do you have the app?
Normal.
Yeah,
that's the way.
Yeah, that's everything is built in, so that's normal.
Oh, perfect.
What is the maximum speed of the Scouter?
Scouter runs the default configuration is 25 kilometers, which is given by the legal regulation for the light electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Right. And how do you deal with the vehicles after its life cycle, when it's ending, and how long is expected life cycle as well?
Yes, the designed life cycle for the vehicle is 15,000 kilometers. So I think it's quite a long time to run for a life cycle, and it's really designed for the professional use, and that's the design goal. And I think we have reached that. Even our test vehicles haven't yet done it, but technically, it's of course it can do it. And once one life cycle is driven, we can do a refurbishment for the Scouter, change the major wearing parts and do a refit for the vehicle, and then put it back to work to streets again. So you can do 3 complete refurbishment for the one platform, and basically it's 60,000 kilometers what you can drive with one Scouter. And once it's done and it's completely driven and done its service, we can demanufacture the Scouter and completely recycle it. It's not 100% carbon free yet, but it's close to it. So anyway, you can completely recycle it, and it's almost carbon free also.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Let's talk a bit more about Solar Scouter. So what's the main difference of Solar Scouter to other Scouters?
Yes, now we come to the exciting part of this story.
I mean, it's a big topic, right? So everyone wants to put solar panels nowadays on the vehicles to make it even more sustainable. So here you go.
Yeah, that's the topic for my heart. So basically, if you look at any electric vehicle, they all must be charged from the grid. That is not the case anymore. Solar Scouter is a new vehicle, new product built on the Scouter platform. It has almost 2 square meters of solar panels, which means that you never in a normal use need to charge it from the grid. It's totally independent, continuous mobility. So wherever you are, if you don't have a socket or plug, no problem, just drive. This works up to about 35 or 40 kilometers per day. It charges all the time and it's ready next day. If you go beyond that, then we maybe need a socket, but 35 for one day is quite a lot. The maximum speed is the same, 25, and so on. So the Solar Scouter is a special product for all the sunny areas of the planet. You can think about developed countries, kind of tourist attractions areas, but also for the areas where the power grid is not reliable for one or other reason. So that's basically the Solar Scouter.
Wow. And do people need a special driving license to use your scouter?
No, it's a bicycle, so anybody can drive a bicycle. No age limitations of any sort. We have been driving with like 6-year-old kids. They totally handle and are allowed to drive the scouter, Solar Scouter, and also the elderly people or people with disabilities. They don't have any problem driving because it's safe, stable, and so on.
Well, you just answered my question, which was on my mind, because I wanted to challenge you. How about those who are a bit elder and grandmothers? That's amazing that they can also use it. Let me ask you another question then. Where do you stand now and what has been your achievements?
Yes, that's yeah, Pekka is showing the factory right now. So yeah, we started 2013 with the company and the first prototype. So that's almost 10 years ago. And then we had the first idea of something that was close to Scouter, and we started to research with downtown traffic and pollution cutting and so on. So the idea was formed in that years, and we did a lot of technical research and other research during the years, and did more prototypes and developed this business idea and business model future for years. And everything went on, and we did the basic job in the company. In 2018, we collaborated with a big car manufacturer in Finland, in southern Finland. The company has a daily output of approximately 500 cars per day. So it's a big company, and we collaborated with their technical department to take Scouter to the automotive level. And that succeeded very well. It took 2 years, and they took the whole engineering to the next level. And there were dozens of engineers doing the job. And now, after the period, we got the current platform. And to ensure that it's all done correctly, we got a certificate for the EU level, LEE1A, vehicle improvement, and that's a very hard improvement to get. So it took over 1 year from the test facility to test Scouter and give an official improvement for the first vehicle ever to have an improvement for this class. And now we have the platform is ready. It's now done and designed. Everything is well, and engineering is done. And the next, what we are doing is to have the production engineering done. So we don't have yet capability to mass produce Scouter for big masses. And we have to do production engineering even more and to integrate the solar system to Solar Scouter. So that's what we are doing next.
Okay.
And in which countries do you plan to scale up if you will go out of Finland?
Yes, obviously, because we are talking about the solar scouter and the sun, we are looking at the sunny countries of the planet. In Southern Europe, maybe the first target, Middle East, and USA. That's the biggest market for us. So we are looking on those areas. Of course, solar scouter works everywhere, but the biggest business potential and user need is in those areas. We have lots of requests now coming from those areas, almost on a daily basis. There's a huge business potential, and that's so attractive now.
Okay. No, this is very interesting. And could you describe some use cases for Solar Scouter, where it is being used, or what kind of clients or customers do you have? And what can they do the Solar Scouter with?
Yeah, the basic idea is that we will provide fleets to operators who actually do the business in the local market. That's the starting point. For example, if there's a hotel or resort in some area, some city, some beach area, then we can provide the fleet to those areas. So that the one use case area is the tourism, recreation, and extra services kind of that lead to zero emission services on some specific area. Also cities, they have several different needs. You can do the logistics in the city, people transportation, goods transportation. Basically, we can see that we are platform for all kind of use cases, but we start with the recreation and tourism, which is the most powerful first use case area.
And what about golf carts in golf yards?
Basically, yes, but there is a kind of technical issue that the golf carts must have wide tires to go to the green areas, and we have narrow tires, so we are not allowed to go to green areas. But on the resorts and areas where people do golfing, there is a lot of commuting between the places, and that's where we are quite ideal.
Okay.
I guess this leads us to question, how do you differentiate yourself from competitors?
Well, that's an interesting question because we don't have exact competitors right now to have the same vehicle. This is the only approved vehicle in its class in the whole EU area, and I can assure that this is the only professional automotive level designed and a vehicle in its class in the world. So we don't have a direct competitor right now, but we really think that our competitors are mere cars and walking, scooter, everything people use to go around town, and our even bikes, of course. And this scooter provides safe, equal mobility opportunity for everyone, even it's not dependent on age and your reaction time, so you can drive it everywhere. And it compared to cars, it's so much cheaper and smaller, more flexible, and compared to, for example, scooters or bikes, this is much safer, and you can take your groceries, cargo, your friends, your family with you in one vehicle. So this has a certain own slot in the city traffic. Definitely, we are definitely sure that there's an own slot for the scooter.
Yeah. And I just wanted to ask, in the cycle, when you're turning, you show your hands. Do you have indicators like in a car or something, or do you have some other ways when you're turning your lane or changing lane?
Yes, basically we are like bikes. You can use your hands to go to the left or right. But because we are platform, it's okay to build different signal ways. So we are very much looking at the local user innovation and what are the cultures and ways to do that in the different places. So we leave lots of things to be innovated in the local countries, local markets.
Yeah, yes, and I think a scooter is much more stable and easier to predict how it goes in city traffic. So we can do we can build indicators, and that's no problem. It's technically very easy and no problem. But it's when it's moving, it's so predictable and kind of like slow in heavy traffic. So you can do it. You don't need indicators in it so much, but technically that's possible.
Okay.
I have more fun question. How much does it cost now, and how much do you think the price will be when you can scale?
The target price for it to the kind of if we were selling the devices, it's about 5,000 euros now for the solar scouter when we are in the target production. But of course, now it's a bit more expensive to make because we have these rising prices of the components and lots of different things that we are not so sure. But it's much more than 5,000 at the moment. Target price is there. On the kind of pricing, we also have the kind of viewpoint that we want to have the components from the trusted European or kind of Western providers. So that gives us a bit more price point to the product, but it gives us the reliability and quality that we want to give to the customers.
Okay.
Well, it's just like an electric bicycle. Some of them are even more expensive, I think.
So we come to the impact. So how can scouter mobility have the maximum impact on environment and on the society?
Yes, as you have heard, this is not only a vehicle, it's much, much more that we can do. So our maximum impact is coming of the zero emission with the solar power, of course. It also comes from the factors that it's safe, it's fun, it's healthy, and that comes all in one package. And one more aspect to the maximum impact is that we really encourage local user innovation. We believe that the local innovators, local business owners will find the best solutions, give the biggest impact on their markets. Also, we are aimed for creating cities much clearer, less pollution, saving space, safety. You don't fall ever with solar scouter. And on the production side, we use very little minerals. One solar scouter requires so little mineral compared to like cars. So all these different aspects, when you put those together, it's a huge impact in the cities and economies.
And what about United Nations SDGs? Which of them do you address?
We made an analysis and found that we are matching 10 of those SDGs.
10?
For example, yes,
what are the three main ones? Let's stop there.
Yeah, I give three examples to you. Affordable and clean energy. Obviously, with solar power, we are there. Check. Industry innovation. The Scouter platform is a platform for innovation also. It's a zero emission innovation platform. It's also a platform of the culture, kind of how things are made as a local production and so on. I think we are highly innovative to that sense. Then, for example, decent work and no poverty. Our idea is that the goal is the scouters will be assembled in the local markets. Local business owners, independent business owners will create the kind of jobs through their businesses. But if you have just one scouter, one solar scouter, you can create your own business. For example, if you can lease that for €1 per day or less, you can create a kind of service business or whatever and start to make your own living with the scouter, or just by driving logistics and things. So there's different ways how we provide decent work for less educated people and educated people, and those people who are totally in the poverty.
That sounds really good. I like your impact. But let me ask you another question. What about rain and snow? Did you test it inside or during a storm? Like how is Scouter pleasant to drive.
And I will add to it, because you're looking for hot countries, in hot countries, sometimes you also have dust and sand. Did you also try that out?
Yeah, from technical perspective, Scouter is okay in all weathers. No technical side there. We have been testing in the Finnish Lapland. There's a lot of snow, in the heavy rains, in the cold, in all kind of conditions that we can find in the Finland. Of course, we don't have monsoon rains in Finland, but that's a bit different story. We have roof, so everything that comes from above you, raining or whatever, no problem. And then the rest, of course, we have open sites and so on. When if you need more, then it's maybe about clothing or something, but there's no technical reason in any reason not to drive Scouter.
Okay, great. And what are your plans for the next following 5 years?
Next 5 years, we have 3 main steps. 1, we will finalize, optimize Solar Scouter. So we will optimize the performance, optimize the cost, and put it as low as possible. And this needs a bit thinking to go from here. After that, we will optimize the production. That's the next step. Now we are doing the manual assembly, which has some kind of work phases and so on. We need specific maybe tools and so on. So next step 2 is to optimize the production. And now we are ready. Let's scale up the production with local factories in the target markets. Those are the 3 steps we do next during the 5 years.
Okay. And what are the main challenges you are facing or you think you will face in the future, and how are you planning to tackle it?
Well, the main problem or the biggest hurdle to go over is to get people understand that there is a room for the Scouter in city traffic. So this is a new vehicle category. It's completely new. We are the first, but we are not the last ones who go to this market. But it's to be the first one in this vehicle class. It's hard, and to get people understand and believe that there's a room for us, and this really works, and people love to drive it. They just love to drive it and don't want to give Scouter out if you just give them a vehicle. So this will prove to be a success, and will sell itself out once we get on the market and get the fleets out. So to believe that there's a future in between the public transportation and the private car and bikes and scooters. So that's one. And also to add in this case is the big problem has been to tell people, to get people understand that this have to be done with professional level of vehicle. So you can't use any cheap toys you can buy from any bike store which have 4 wheels, and they don't last in professional use and serious use. So to do the change, you have to have a serious tools which have been built according to the automotive quality and automotive standards. So that's a big issue also.
Okay.
Another question, guys. What about marketing? How are you going to reach the millions of people? What are the strategies out there which you are going to use in marketing?
We have a lot of viral marketing. Well, we have the contacts coming in, but that's not the solution. On the marketing side, we during the past 3 years, we have done a huge amount of pilots in different places, like with cities and hospital services and even cruise ships, and kind of people have been driving Scouters and getting those experiences on hands-on. That's a good way to marketing because you can really experience the product like Ben did a couple of weeks ago. When we go forward, we continue the same. We will create more material that we can experience, but I think the main thing is that we must get the fleets out to the cities on the resorts so that people can really try out, and the operators can really try out if they have a fleet of scouters, solar scouters, what is the better kind of value they bring to their services. So really hands-on marketing, really concrete, tangible things.
Yeah. And when I was in Helsinki, it's same also in Zurich. Very often you see these scooters, these steps, electric steps, every corner of Helsinki, which you just can pay with your credit card and get on it and use it. And in Zurich also we have it. Do you also intend to use the Scout or something like that?
Of course, everything is possible. We are very innovative guys, and we are really like to try out the most crazy ideas so that people can experience and learn and tell more about to their friends.
Okay.
I think now everyone is very excited. How much money do you need to scale up? So what are you looking for? Any investors or partners?
Well, yes, we need money. We have done a lot of research and development, and we have done a lot of work with all creating all the platform, and much assets and workforce and hours has been spent during the years, and we are almost there. So we have the ready, a platform is fully ready, fully approved, but we need that mass production engineering and solar system integration to do it. So that's where we need money, and that then after that, that's completely market ready, and we are ready to sell, because nowadays we have gotten several inquiries, and there's a strong interest towards Scouter, but we can't deliver mass deliveries right now because we need some production engineering still to do it.
But you didn't name the number, Jaakko. We need to know how much do you need in numbers.
Yeah, okay. Well, we need, for the first step, we need 2 million euros. And then we need, yeah.
Much in concrete.
That's not much.
Yeah, that's the steps are kind of, we do the product engineering, that's one step. Then the next step is the kind of process optimization, and then starting the manufacturing. And when we start to think about making thousands of solar scouters or tens of thousands, you can imagine that there's a lot of money we need for the components and make it that to run. We are talking about tens of millions in, let's say, 5 years' time.
Exactly, because in the place where you're standing now, how many do you produce there per month, Scouter?
It's quite slow, and we are now focusing on the kind of creating the solar scouter. So we are not producing new ones. We are creating solar scouter now.
Yeah.
Okay. And after 2 million for injection, how many would you be producing then per month?
With 2 million, we can do all the production engineering ready, and then we can do a test fleet, or no, it's not the best test, but let's say pre-production fleet according to the production new production engineered follow-up, and then we can also get the solar integration ready. So it needs some more developed. But it's not about the sheer number of scouters we get with 2 million. We get, of course, the first production fleet, but also the line ready to deliver. So we can start taking orders when we get enough funding, and start in the first year or so, when we are still running the production engineering. We can start taking the same time orders and then deliver them after the work is done.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I'm looking forward to see some scouters in south of Italy, France, US in a couple of years.
Switzerland.
That's great, guys. The time is running out, but we still have some questions to answer. And before that, can you name few points which we should remember about Scouter, the highlights?
Yeah, so we are running fully sun power. It's zero emission, and it doesn't cost anything to run when it's sunny powered. And what is important, we are already there. The platform is ready and approved. So we are not in a prototype phase. And this is highly scalable case. So it's very easy to scale up all the scouters, all the production, and also the business models and businesses we integrate in the scouter. So it's easy to scale everything up and also to make a local production, like Pekka said earlier. So
That's amazing.
And what is your call to action message for our global audience?
Anything you want to say?
Yes,
Present to you.
as Jaakko said, we have everything almost ready. It's there, it's done. A lot of work behind. Now it's your chance to join this. Let's make a big change in the zero emission mobility together. That's where we need it. Let's make this together. Join us.
That was very good and very, very to the point. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. As a little gift for your amazing work, we'd like to invite you to join our impact investing community Chamomile. Just register, you can publish Scouter there, and we will upgrade your membership so more people get to know you before you scale up. You can prepare your community there. And also Impact Leader Certificate for your amazing impact on our planet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to try the scooter, as Ben already tried it out. So.
I have already told Pekka I want one, especially the sun one.
Great, thank you for joining us. See you in Finland or Switzerland.
Bye for now.
Definitely.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Well, that was really, really inspiring. I love to see the amazing product when it's tangible, it's out there, you just need some money to get it run around the world.
And I have even driven it. It is so amazing. You can drive it anywhere, everywhere. No sound, no nothing. It's perfect.
Well, with this on positive, I'd like to finish the 14th episode of season 5. Next week, we will be back to introduce you a couple who are building the most amazing houses in a very fantastic way. Well, I don't want to disclose more than that. To see them, you need to watch us next week. And remember to subscribe on youtube.com/SwissImpact to get updated when the new episode is out there.
And for all businesses who are just as impactful as the one we showed today, if you're looking for resources or if you are looking for any kind of support, please contact us.
Of course, and always remember, you get more when you give back.
So always invest with impact. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Hi, we hope you enjoyed this episode of TV show Swiss Impact with Banerjees.
Make sure you check out the next one and also find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Spotify, podcasts, and any of your favorite social media places.
And please subscribe to our channel so you know when we release new episodes.
And also leave us some feedback to help us grow this awesome impact community and join it.
We look forward to sharing the next episodes with you, and until then, you get more when you give back.
So always invest with impact.